Hello there! I have made a list of 20 things I would like to see from CIG in 2025. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is pure 100% Class A copium I'm huffing here. A lot of this stuff, they haven't even said they're working on like half this stuff. It is complete fantasy wish list of things I would like to see them fix, add, etc. So bear that in mind. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. Number 1 is the elevators. We know that they are working on the transit refactor, but there is one thing that I've always found kind of annoying when using elevators, and it's the lack of feedback that when I go to a button, I press it, and I have no idea if the game's registered. There's nothing on here to tell me that the elevator's on its way. There's nothing telling me that it is registered that I've clicked it. So it's kind of muscle memory now. Whenever I go to an elevator button, I just start spamming that F key over and over and over, trying to see if it's on its way, because we know elevators are broken. That's why they're working on the refactor. So I would very much like, when they do the refactor, just add some kind of animation. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, like a little twirling circle or bar going left and right. Like the loading screen, they never used to have this. They had to add this because you would never know if the game's loading or the server's crashed or anything like that. So some kind of feedback that the elevator is on its way would be amazing. Number 2 is dev markers. Now, 4.0, they have updated dev marker. It seems to be working consistently so far, but the thing that I would like is multiple dev markers. So if I have died, I have spawned back at the city, I am on my way back to grab my stuff, and the game bugs out and I fall through an elevator, I've now technically died a second time. So the first marker is now gone, so I can't go back and get my stuff. So I would very much like dev markers to stay around until I dismiss them. Assuming that I'm on a server that I have died multiple times on, I would like all my markers still to be there until I dismiss them. I don't know how they do that via the map or the journal, but please don't override dev markers. Number 3, I would like cargo boxes to be marked with edges. Now, the way CIG does their climbing system, it's not dynamic. They actually physically have to go in there and mark areas that a player can like climb over or climb up onto. So I would very much like all cargo boxes to have the edges of the boxes marked as climbable. So if you're in a small ship, like the little cutter, and you filled with boxes, you need to climb over the top to get into your ship, you can climb over it because it's just too tall to jump over. So please add edges onto cargo boxes for climbing over. Number 4, for the love of God, please stop effing stuff off the screen. If I want to click on a door to open it, I don't want to be getting in the bed that's technically 100 degrees behind me off my screen. So please stop F-clicking stuff off the screen. It should be whatever's on my screen. In fact, I think it should be kind of central in the screen. That's not even a word. Not even the edges, because the amount of times I've clicked stuff that's not even in my vision is annoying. Number 5, please just let us spawn vehicles in our hangar and not need to bring them up on the main vehicle elevator. I know they wanted to do it on the cargo elevator and they said, oh, it's not going to quite make it in, but we've had the new persistent hangars for a while now, and they haven't added ground vehicle spawning on the freight elevator. So how about you just grab this pad, stick it in here, add an ESOP terminal next to it. Bam. Thank you very much. Moving on. Number 6, looting bodies is a pain in the butt. It's funny they call it the quick loot system, but you spend like 10 minutes just trying to find the F prompt to loot the body. That needs work. I want them to do something about that. Increase, if your cursor's over the body, you can just click F or something. Not trying to find that exact point where you could actually loot the body is a pain in the butt, especially if you're under fire and you're like panicking, you need medical stuff or you need ammo or something. Number 7, cameras on MFDs. Now, we have these mirrors now. They've been putting on the new ships where they make it look like it's a camera and a screen rather than a mirror. It's a kind of cool effect. I would like them to use that on MFDs. So if I want a reverse camera on an MFD, I don't have to go third person or use a keybind to look back. Or if I wanted to have a camera at the docking port, so when I'm landing, I still have my docking HUD, but I also have now a camera showing the docking port on an MFD, which would probably help with lining up, or on the rear ramp of my ship so I can see people coming in and out or loading cargo without needing to go third person or etc. Yeah, use the tech that's there. Number 8, time to destination. So when you're using the map, you select your destination. It will tell you how much fuel and the time it takes to get there. I would very much like it if it dynamically, as I travel there, that counter would update to say how long I've got until I get to my destination. It'd be also nice if it was on an MFD when I'm flying and I don't actually look at the map, so that I know I've got 3 more minutes until I get to my destination. I can quickly run to the toilet or make a sandwich or whatever. It'd be nice that if that information would dynamically update to let me know how long until my destination, because it dynamically updates the amount of fuel you're using, so that'd be great. Number 9, I'm going to shout out my pal Piss Poor Pete, who made a Spectrum post and he made a little video of it. You can kind of see it here. The ability to see the range that you have with the current fuel that you have in your ship. So if I am heading all the way across system, I know I'm not going to make it in one jump. I can see all the stations that are within range, so I can kind of plan out, right, I'll go to this station to refuel. I don't have to just start clicking on them to try and find one that's in range and guess. Number 10, as we're talking about the map, as we're showing the map, I would very much like the external map to be a different keybind to the internal map. The amount of times I'm scrolling in to zoom into a location or scrolling out and it's zoomed into the ship or vice versa. I would rather those just be separate modes, that you just hit the keybind to go to local map, you hit the keybind to go into internal map. I don't like the scrolling in and out between the two different types of maps. Number 11, the compass is pants. It is designed in a way that you can't see both numbers at the exact same time. There are no markers along between the numbers to indicate each degree, and if I wanted to head to a cave and I knew it was 45 degrees and 20 kilometers from an outpost, I go to the outpost and I try and line up. I have to try and guess where 45 degrees is. I don't know why they haven't put little chevrons along here to indicate each degree, or a little box that actually shows your actual degree heading. So I would very much like them to update that, especially seeing the updating the MFD, the kind of the HUD for flying. I'm really surprised they have not done anything with the compass because it's not great. Number 12, lights. Ship lights are pretty atrocious. They are literal hand torches that are brighter in real life than some of the ship lights in this game. They need a massive overhaul of the distance. Pretty much a lot of times you can't see stuff until you're pretty much hitting it. The lights are pretty awful. I'd also would like running lights under the ship, so when you're landing, like the Cutlass actually has lights in every direction lighting up under your ship so you can see where you're landing. It'd be good if pretty much all ships had landing lights, so the area below your ship would be lit pretty brightly. Would be great. So yeah. Number 14, speaking of lights, running lights on stations. When approaching stations at night, they are pretty, other than little beacon lights that they've added around it, you can approach a station and it be pitch black. You can't see any of the hull, any of the pylons. I feel like in the future they would definitely have a station lit up with running lights. Number 14, ladders. The Star Citizen has the worst ladders I've experienced in pretty much any FPS game, I think. The animation time, the fact you're locked on them, you can't, like most games where you're halfway up the ladder, you can hit space and jump off the ladder, but nope, you are locked to that ladder, and the dismount is usually pretty bugged, where you might just dismount into a wall, or as soon as you dismount it triggers the animation to get back onto it, so you're stuck in a loop where you can't get off the ladder because it immediately puts you back on the ladder. Ladders in this game are awful. I'm pretty sure they showed footage where they were working on ladders years ago, but I'll see if I can find that. Yeah, fix the ladders. Number 15, this is a bit of a weird one. When you start the game, there's a terms and service that pops up that you have to agree to. I would very much like there just to be a tick box that I can tick, do not show in the future, and then hit accept, and I will no longer see that unless they change the terms and services. Obviously, they can make that pop up again, but it is very annoying that you have to agree to terms of service every time you start the game. Please just add a tick box. Because the amount of times I've clicked launch and then went to Alt-Tab to do something else and realised I haven't actually started the game. Number 16. Being locked to a server. That is an advantage if the game crashes or your internet gets disconnected. The fact you can jump back in, reload into your character is fantastic, but unfortunately it tends to be more on the negative side at the moment, especially in 4.0 experience, where, for example, there are multiple errors where the server you've been on is crashed or whatnot, and the game has locked you to a server that no longer exists, or the server is in a crash loop and you can't play the game. You could literally be locked out of the game for hours, even a day or so. I'd very much just like the option to, instead of being locked to a server, just have two buttons. Like the normal one where you select a region and you can just click join new server and then have a rejoin button. So if my game did crash, I can just click rejoin. I'm not locked to that server. If I want to join a server I've been on before, I click rejoin. If the server's full, it puts me in a queue. I very much like the queue thing to be available if I join a friend. If I click on join friend and the server's full, I don't just immediately get server's full and you have to keep clicking and clicking and clicking it. Just give me an option to queue to join my friend. So number 17, slopes. Now there are many occasions where you might have to park behind a steep hill, or you're navigating like Ghost Hollow, you're trying to go around to get a height advantage, you can aim down at people or whatnot, and you have to traverse up heavy slopes or down heavy slopes, and those slopes don't look like they are that heavily steep, and then until you go on them, and then you start sliding down and you fall and you die because it treats it like you're falling straight down and rather than down a slope. I can understand if you slide down a slope, you should probably take some damage, maybe sprain your leg, damage your leg, take some damage, but I would very much like the game not to treat it as if I've stepped off a cliff rather than sliding down a slope. Number 18, disabling turrets using fuses. So we are getting, hopefully this year, the engineering stuff and the resource stuff. I'm hoping that they allow you to remove fuses from turrets, disable turrets. Say you fly in a dropship, you drop your team down, they move in, disable the turrets, and then you can bring your ship in to land, being wherever that location is. You have these ones at outposts in Pyro, which are actually, they were missions, but they're not in. I don't know if they're coming in. The whole mission system currently in 4.0 preview is very broken, but it's literally, you can remove the fuse, there's a switch there, so it'd be very cool if there was some of these at bunkers. You can go, it's like you drop your friend off, then go in, flick the switch, disable the turrets or remove fuses from the turrets, and then your friend can come and land in a ship safely. Number 19, setting primary and secondary medical, which I might immediately scrap once I explain. So basically, say you are at ArcCorp, that's your home starting location, and you're going off to Crusader to do some missions. You'd probably set medical at Seraphim. Or if you are going there and you have a medical ship, you set your spawn to your ship. You lose your ship, now you've got to go all the way back to ArcCorp, and now you've got to commute all the way back over to Crusader. So it'd be good if you could set a secondary medical and a primary medical. So like my primary medical would be Seraphim, my secondary would be the ship. So if I lose the ship, I fall back to Seraphim rather than going all the way to home. And as I was thinking about it, it just occurred to me it's pretty much just setting a new home location. So it'd be great if we had the ability to set new home locations in game. So if, like, a lot of people when they start the game, one of the first things they do is put all their stuff in a ship and they transport it to a station such as Grimhex, and then they set medical there. Unfortunately, if they lose the medical, they will go back to their original home location, but all their goods at Grimhex. So all intents and purposes, Grimhex is their new home location. So if there was a button and go set new home, and it would set my home to that location, be it Grimhex or a station or another planet, that would be amazing. You still would have to transport all your stuff over because it wouldn't immediately move that stuff over for you. Number 20, locking doors open. There was a time in the past, it was a glorious time, when they added the MSR and you could lock the doors open. Basically, you'd click open the door, you click the lock symbol and the door would be locked open. Because the MSR is a bit of a pain to go through because it has like 50 doors. It feels very much like a standard for Crusader ships because it's the very same thing to Hercules. You just run up to the door, wait for the door to open, you run up to the next door, you wait for the door to open. I'm being able to lock doors open was such a huge quality of life thing. Yes, from engineering point of view, it means if the ship loses atmosphere, that's bad, but that's the player's choice. So I'm hoping with engineering coming, hopefully this year, that being able to lock doors permanently open would be an option. I really hope they add that. It is a positive that you'd be able to move your ship quicker, but the negative of you're literally venting your whole ship if you lose air. Alright, that is us. All 20 items that I would very much like to see in 2025. Complete and utter, not going to happen. Like 90% of those things are probably not even being worked on. No chance of that happening. It's just a wish list of things I would hope we might get, but probably not. But before we go, quickfire bonus round of items that I didn't get to add that I wanted to. So I'm going to batter them off really quickly. Bring back names on the people you're looting. They used to be right here, they're no longer here. I'd very much like to know the person I'm looting who attacked me. Increase the range that I can pick up stuff when looting off the ground. Calling ATC hangar to open from inside the hangar. I don't have to be in the pilot seat. If my friend's in the ship, I can open the door for them. Stats on components rather than just saying military grade. I'd very much like to know what the stats are on these items without going to a third-party website. Environmental effects affecting NPCs. If I can't see you, then you should be able to see me. But NPCs have like 20/20 vision. NPCs being in tanks. You imagine going to land at a bunker and it's guarded by a tank. I'd very much like to see some NPCs in ground vehicles. An inventory terminal on the pads. When you go to land, I just walk into the airlock, get the item I want and leave. I don't have to take an elevator into the station. Add more hangars to everywhere, stations, planets, so we're not having queues to get in and out. Bigger self-storage containers rather than 4 SU. It'd be nice to have a 32 SU storage box. A keybind for increasing or decreasing range on a tracked beam rather than me spinning my scroll wheel like a crazy man. Inventory stacking. When? And that's us. If you liked the video, thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave in the comments all the things you would like to see in 2025, even if they are crazy ones like I put down. I know some of this stuff is like items that people couldn't give a damn about, and I'm sure people will probably list stuff that I couldn't give a damn about. We're all different, but leave your list, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.